Your journey has been quite interesting and spread across the globe.
So we called it in Indian Society of Calgary. Yeah.
But why did you feel the need to start a group? What was the purpose?
For example, you see the India Fest that happened last year and the Indian Independence Day celebration that has been happening since 2022.
Did you ever imagine that it would grow to so many members in that group? It was 36,000?
We are doing things with people. They have an equal stake in whatever we achieve as a community. So I would urge everyone to be a part of it. We've had over 25 youth for summer internships. Those are paid internships that we offer every summer for 8 weeks in different areas. I also went to UK for my internship with Lancet, which is one of the top medical journals in the world. That was before I started my PhD.
You have been awarded with Queen Elizabeth and King Charles medals, which is such a huge honor. Recently, I read on your LinkedIn, you posted, you were part of a match study.
That we should not neglect Eastern medicine at all.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to bring a whole community together, and that too in a new country? Hello and welcome back to the Neha Jog podcast. Today's guest, Devesh Oberoi, has done exactly that. He is the founder of the Indian Society of Calgary Facebook group, which has now grown into a non-profit organization. They celebrate Indian festivals like Diwali, Holi, Independence Day, and a lot more right here in Calgary. His work in building community spirit has even earned him 2 prestigious medals, King Charles III Coronation Medal and Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. Devesh's journey has taken him from India to the UK, Australia, USA, and finally here in Canada, where he's making a lasting impact. This episode is for anyone curious about community building, cultural preservation, and making a difference no matter where you live. So make sure you watch this episode till the end to hear how one person's passion can spark a movement. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do so, as it really helps me bring more inspiring stories like this one. So without any further ado, let's dive right in and welcome our today's guest, Devesh Oberoi. Hello, Devesh. Welcome to today's episode.
Hi, Neha, and thank you for having me.
Let's start from your journey. From what I have researched about you, your journey has been quite interesting and spread across the globe. So let's start from India, where you were born and raised.
For sure. I'm originally from Dehradun. It's a hill city in the state of Uttarakhand. That's where I was born and raised, and completed my schooling as well. Then after my high school, I went to Manipal University for my medicine. I did my undergraduate medicine degree from Manipal. And then after that, I worked in Bangalore for a couple of years, and then went to Australia for my PhD. But in between that, I also went to UK for my internship with Lancet, which is one of the top medical journals in the world. That was before I started my PhD. And so it was India, UK, and then Australia. Australia, where I went for my PhD. I essentially lived in Perth, which is in Western Australia. That's where I did my PhD. And then I lived in Melbourne for 3 years, where I did my first postdoc. And then from there, I came to Canada. And my first job in Canada was with the University of Calgary. That's what brought me to Canada. So Calgary was the first city I landed in, and I've always been here since then. In between, I've also worked in the US for 2 years. But essentially, since 2017, I've lived primarily in Calgary.
So these are some of the major countries where people come to Canada from, except you haven't just been to Dubai, or else you've covered all the major countries.
Well, not that I haven't been there. I've been there as a tourist for 4 days. Okay. But I never lived or worked in Dubai. Yeah.
So how has your experience been, like living in all these countries and now finally calling Calgary your home?
I think it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. As I said, I was born in Dehradun, which is one of the most, beautiful and sought after cities in India. So I had a wonderful childhood growing up in Dehradun. And then when I went to Manipal, the city was Mangalore in Karnataka. So again, one of the best cities in India. I would call it a cream city of India. Again, wonderful infrastructure, great facilities and a urban city vibe in a small city. So I had an amazing experience over there. So for how much ever time I've spent in India, it has been fabulous. And then again from there, my first international exposure was in UK when I went to London for my internship with the Lancet. That was my first international experience. Everything was very new, and that
Yeah.
is what amazed me, because that was something that was very somewhat different from India, and then after that, it's been pretty much the same. I mean, like, once you've been in a Western country, in a first world country, unless you're focusing on, like, tourism areas of tourist place interest or something, it's pretty much the same. So a little bit of cultural difference here and there, but overall, not a significant difference, I would say.
But if you were given an opportunity to still choose which country you would want to live in, you would still
Well,
be here?
well, as I said, like, wherever I've lived, wherever I've spent time, I've enjoyed that time. So if I were to continue living in Canada, and basically in Calgary, I wouldn't move anywhere else in Canada now, because Calgary is home. I would love to continue to live here. But if I move back in time and, I'm again given an opportunity to live in Australia, I would continue to do that as well, because that is a different sort of life, a different level of fun, because you have more outdoor life in Australia. I'm not a winter person, so yeah, I don't ski. So obviously, for me, road trips and beaches, all of those things, you can easily access in Australia. So I would love living there. And if I were to live in India, I would go back to Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, especially in your adulthood, people are so anxious, like, when it comes to moving, especially like how you have moved countries. So, how was your experience and how are you so open to moving?
That's a good question. And for me, I might be little, uh, I might sound a little dramatic when I say, but I've been God's special child in this case. So whenever I moved from one place to another, it was a career trajectory, or it was for a bigger goal or something, and it has always been an easy transition for me. Like, for example, when I went to UK for the internship, I was invited there. I didn't have to spend a penny to go to UK. When I went to Australia, I was fully funded for my PhD. I didn't have to work a single day in my student life. Was well funded. So, and the moment I finished my PhD, I got a plum job in Melbourne. So again, when I had to come here, I didn't land here without a job. I already had a job lined up when I came here. So for me, the journey has been pretty, I would say, smooth. There have been some challenges, of course. There has been some hard work involved at every stage, but I wouldn't call it a struggle, because that was just a switch from one point in life to another. I wouldn't say that for my family, though, because my wife has been tagging along. I got married in 2011, so she joined me in Australia, and then she had to uproot her life from India, moving to Australia, starting her career and a life from scratch. Then again from Perth, when we moved to Melbourne, for me it was a smooth transition, but she had to again, do an intra-company transfer and move to Melbourne. And then we moved here again. She was back to square one as a new immigrant. So for me, it has been easy, but not for her. But I would not discount her support, because it was primarily because of support and encouragement that I could do what I could do in my life. Yeah,
Yeah, it is always like, if you don't have your partner's support, life is very difficult.
absolutely.
But how you explained your journey, like, it's been such a smooth transition. Were you academically very, like, good?
Yeah, I was okay. I was okay. I mean, like, I've had a good education. I studied in one of the great schools from Dehradun. Dehradun is known as a city of education, and my school particularly was quite good. I was in a good cohort. We had smaller classroom sizes, and I was always in the company of smarter kids than me. So I always had to work hard to keep up with them.
So your first benches.
I mean, like, we had small batches. Almost everyone was a front bencher.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then from there, I went to medical school, but that wasn't easy. I had to, like, work my face off for 2 years to get into a medical school. It wasn't easy. Once I got into medical school, then I got into a different stream altogether. While I was doing medicine, I got interested in research. So, that was in my second year of medicine when I got a summer research fellowship from Indian Council of Medical Research. They used to pay us a fellowship amount of 5,000 rupees and a certificate. So that used to be a big motivation. However, that wasn't the only motivation. I was quite interested. So that was in my second year of MBBS, and then once I did that, when I finished and published that research in an international journal, that was a pivoting point. And from there on, I was just driven by my passion for research, and it did a couple of studies and published a couple of studies even before I finished my undergraduate degree. And in all this process, I established a lot of collaborations nationally and internationally. So that's when when once I presented a paper in an international conference of diabetes, and it had delegates from all over the world. And after the conference, I got an invitation from Finland and from US to start a PhD. But that time I was only in my third year. Like I still had like 2.5 years more to go to finish my degree. So I couldn't pursue that. But along the way, all of those collaborations helped a lot. So when I got a PhD offer from Australia, that was from one of the collaborators actually. They said like, we have a PhD position open if you're interested. So I was preparing for my postgraduate medical entrance exams that time, and for my USMLE. My plan was to go to US and practice medicine over there, but life had some other plans. So when this opportunity came along, I slept on it for a while. Then I thought, okay, fine, just because everything else is life and this is my passion, so let's pursue passion. So I decided to pursue PhD. Yeah, so as I said, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was through one of my collaborators that I had been in touch with for almost 3 years, and when the opportunity came along, he just offered it to me. So like, this has been an element of luck, and there has been an element of hard work, but all of that culminated into what I really wanted in life.
Yeah, your journey has been
Yeah.
quite inspiring. But for the viewers who are, like, especially from Canada, a lot of people move to US or UAE, and they are very nervous, like uprooting their life and, coming out of that comfort zone. What your advice would be to them?
I would say if you have a bigger goal in mind, then you should not be worried about leaving your comfort zones, because no one has ever accomplished anything worth accomplishing staying in their comfort zones. If you are shooting an arrow in the dark, like I know a lot of immigrants, they apply for PR and they get their PR, and then their only option is to come to Canada with or without a job, with a leap of faith. And a lot of them are quite talented and very highly qualified. They do end up finding a job at some point when they land here. But then there are some of us, like, who know what they want in life and what the next step in life would be. There is a lot of hard work and a lot of challenges involved. I wouldn't deny that. But at the same time, if you know where you're heading, then just keep your headlight on and just keep driving, and stop by, for a break if you have to. But just keep going. Yeah.
Do you think it changes once you have a child?
Definitely. I would say, yeah. There are several stages. It changes when you're single, things are different.
Yeah.
Absolutely different. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, go wherever you go. So once you have a family, once you're married, then you also have to think about your spouse. How is your journey going to impact theirs? And once you have a child, you kind of want to settle down. Like, yeah, now you have to worry about the kids' schooling and their friends and their stability in life. So then at that point in time, I think you have to like slow down a little. Not everyone does that, and it is not for everyone. People still keep going. But it is, I think I would say it's a personal choice whether you want to slow down at that point or not, because then life is viewed in a very holistic manner. It's not just your career, it's your career, your family, your kid, your parents who are also getting older. So, yeah.
Okay. So you would say having a kid would be a right time to settle down or slow down?
It depends, actually. This is not a one size fits all advice. So, for example, some people live in big families, like grandparents live with them with the grandchildren. So there is someone to take care of the kid, and you can keep building your dreams. You can keep building your career, your business, or your job. So for them, I wouldn't say slowing down is a good advice if they have a backup or someone to take care of them and the family. Uh, Sometimes it's not the grandparents; it's the spouse. And the spouse, there are some spouses who usually give up on their dreams to help their partner. So in that case also you can keep going. But once you feel like you've achieved the basic necessities of life, then it's your personal choice whether you want to keep going with the same pace or you want to slow down and enjoy other aspects of life, which is basically seeing your kid both in the morning and in the evening, getting them ready for daycare or for school, and enjoying their childhood with them.
Was there like a key moment in your professional journey that really changed your mindset or gave you a new direction? That was a turning point in your life?
Like life as in personal life or career or in professional life.
Professional life.
There have been several, but yeah, as I said, in my second year of medicine, when I got that summer research fellowship from the Indian Council of Medical Research, that was one of the pivoting moments in my life where I discovered my love for research. And although I was training to be a doctor, that kind of instilled in my head, like, yes, I'm also interested in research, and it might be a different path that I could be taking in the future, that the research path instead of clinical practice. And that's how it ended for me. I ended up taking a research path. But from there on, I think it was a pivoting moment, because when I was seeing my classmates, my batchmates in med school, they were all like some of them were like very studious and working hard, started preparing for the postgraduate entrance for the specialization exams right in their undergrad. But so I was a little different. I was a little bit of an outlier in that group, and I had a group of very supportive friends who used to encourage me whenever I used to go for conferences, presenting papers, publishing research. They were not doing that, but they were very encouraging of that. So I was again very lucky in that aspect, and it felt good. It felt good that I had created a path for myself, a career path for myself, where I didn't have to sort of go through that grind again, all over again, because medical career is a very long training period. So you have to train for almost 15 years before you actually start working, and then another 5 years to gain experience. I don't know if I had patience for that. So I chose my own path. But the pivoting moment was that exposure to research study in my second year of medicine. And from there on, it was always, upstream track.
Recently, I read on your LinkedIn, you posted you were part of a match study.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Match is basically mindfulness and Tai Chi for cancer health. It was a study that I led as part of my postdoctorate at the University of Calgary. So as I said, I came to Calgary in 2017 just to pursue this postdoc, and this was the project that I was supposed to lead under the mentorship of Professor Linda Carlson, who was the chair of the department at the University of Calgary. So started leading that project in 2017 and led it till 2021 until my contract finished at the University of Calgary, and I switched to another job. So I led the study for 4 years. It was about, so we see a lot of, we know cancer is not an easy journey for anyone. The mere thought of cancer is scary and nightmarish. And for someone to be diagnosed with cancer, undergoing all those treatments for cancer, taking all the side effects of cancer treatments, and then when they want to come back to life, there's a lot of challenges: physical, mental, psychosocial. They've taken a hit on all fronts: physical health, mental health, financial health, social life, emotional life. Everything has been affected. So we want to enable them to stand on their feet again. So this was the program that was being done at the University of Calgary in the Department of Psychosocial Oncology, where they were using mindful techniques like mindfulness and yoga and Tai Chi, which is a Chinese form of breathing exercises and light movements, to get these people back on their feet in terms of their physical health and mental health. So we were trialing these two programs, which of these programs would be better for them as a standalone, or if, first trying to study if they were even helpful, and then between these two programs, which was better and in which type of cancer patients. So that was a study. So we ultimately ended up finding out, that these programs were really helpful. And what I saw in those cancer patients was a very high level of resilience. I know it's not the journey of cancer. It's not an easy journey, as I just mentioned. So, but these people had the courage and the resilience to, come back to their pre-cancer lives, where they could have a social life, a family life, go back to the jobs, stuff like that. So these programs, these interventions helped a lot, tremendously, in getting them back on their feet and enabling them to live a normal, not normal, but close to normal life. So yeah, that was the study. So these programs helped in both psychosocial, physical, psychological ways. We did blood studies, we did cortisol level studies, we did saliva study, blood sample studies, we did all forms of medical and psychosocial evaluations, which demonstrated that these programs were really helpful for these cancers in returning back to their normal lives post cancer diagnosis. So we call them survivors, but that's a very scientific term, cancer survivors. But we also call them warriors because they fought through that journey of cancer.
You also mentioned yoga was part of
The mindfulness, absolutely.
mindfulness.
Yes.
Okay, so it comes under mindfulness because
Mindfulness and yoga was a combined program.
Okay, and the impact was positive.
Absolutely.
What was your personal takeaway from this whole study?
That we should not neglect Eastern medicine at all. Like Western medicine is the mainstay medicine in today's times, has been for a very long time now, and it is absolutely helpful. You cannot underplay the role of chemo or radiotherapy or chemotherapy or even surgery, because that is the mainstay treatment. But what after the patient has been cured of cancer? And by cured, I mean the cancer has been removed from the body. You have to restore life back into these people. That's where these Eastern medicine techniques come into play. They help a lot.
Yeah, I recently did a podcast with a cancer survivor, and when you say warriors, that's the exact right term to be used, because even like when I was talking to the guest, it was so heavy for me to listen
Absolutely.
to the struggles and the pain and everything that they have to go through. Again, social, mental, physical, everything, it is like they are truly warriors, people who
And it's
survive.
not an individual disease, it's a family disease, because it affects everyone in the family in one way or the other. It's not contagious. The family members won't get cancer, but because you have been affected by it and you live with them, they will take a hit as well on their lives.
Apart from such amazing work that you do in your professional life, you also started the very well-known group in Calgary, which was first known as Indians in Calgary.
Long time back when we just started it. Yeah.
So what was your thought when you started that group on Facebook?
That's quite funny actually, because so it was started off as a Facebook group as Indians in Calgary, Alberta, but along the way we realized there were way too many groups with the same name or a similar name. And also there was a point where we wanted to establish it as a non-profit organization. So we wanted a unique name for it, where it would not only give it an identity of an organization, but also make it a little different from some of the pre-existing groups. So we called it Indian Society of Calgary. Yeah.
But why did you feel the need to start a group? Were you not able to find people around, or what was the purpose?
I think that was precisely the purpose. The need was primarily my own, because when I came to Calgary, I was looking for people to connect with. I needed a social group where I could ask questions, or day-to-day questions, or even complex issues, or even find places that would serve authentic Indian food, and or arrange some meetups for like-minded people. So it was primarily.
What year was this? Sorry.
2017.
2017.
Yes. November of 2017. So I started this group within a week of arrival. Yeah. So that's where it came from. It was my own need. But it panned out. When it panned out and started growing exponentially, I realized it wasn't just mine. And although I did anticipate in the beginning when I was creating that it may not just be mine, it may be a lot of other people's need as well. And that came out to be true. It was actually a lot of people's need. And to be honest, up until that, I looked for groups. Like, my intention was not to create a group. My intention was to be a part of a group. And when I looked up online, did my research for a couple of days, I didn't find any group where there was a genuine human connection happening. It was all mostly buy and sell groups. People were selling stuff, spamming groups. That was not where I wanted to be. I wanted a clean group where, human connections would be given way more value than buying and selling or business promotions. So I didn't find any, so I created one. And that has been primarily the vision and the mission of the group from day one, that it is more for human connection.
Did you ever imagine that it would grow to so many members in that group? It was 36,000?
It was 36,000 until sometime back when the group was taken off, unfortunately, for some unknown reasons. But we've rebuilt it. We started rebuilding it. And, we have a new group which already has over 5,000 members now. I'm pretty sure we'll get to that 36,000 mark pretty soon. But I did not imagine that it would grow so big. I just wanted it to be a small group where people would find mates, families would find other families to hang out with, kids would find play dates with other kids. To my pleasant surprise, it grew big, and it wasn't only my efforts. Along the way, we added some other moderators from the community as well, who also took the ownership. And from that point on, it has always been a team effort.
Yeah. But how was, as you mentioned, there are so many groups on Facebook, but it just ends there. There is a group for you to, socialize. But how did you decide to take it a step further and establish it under a non-profit organization?
Absolutely. No, you're very correct in saying that. So we did run it as a Facebook group only for a couple of years before we registered it as a non-profit organization. And the group evolved into, as I said, much bigger than we had anticipated it to be. We were doing a lot of good work in the community. We had started launching programs. We'd started doing events. So registering it as a non-profit organization would give us access to more resources and also recognize us on a platform where we could be recognized as an organization and a body with government agencies, with funding agencies, with the community, and have a good representation for the community under the umbrella tag of an organization rather than an individual or just a Facebook group.
Right. But you have a very busy professional life, and we as a parent know, even if you have to plan your kid's birthday party,
yes,
it's a task.
It is.
And you plan so many activities, there is Holi celebration, there is Independence Day celebration, so much. So there must be a lot of challenges in doing those.
And a lot of fun as well.
Fun as well.
And the fun overrides the challenges. That's what makes it and keeps it interesting all the time. And yes, so, it has, doing an event has always been a teamwork for us. Going back to 2017 and 2019, we had good teams and the teams evolved. We were fortunate to have a good set of volunteers as well, who are willing to take ownership of certain tasks. So, planning something is one thing, but executing it on a higher level is something else. So we had all the help we needed from volunteers, from teammates, from members, advisors, everyone. So, all of that teamwork did culminate into world-class events.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you mention what were some of the challenges that you face?
Absolutely.
Just for us to understand and maybe help.
No, absolutely. So you want me to narrate some challenges from back in the day or current challenges?
Even current challenges. Yeah, current would be.
For sure. I mean, anything and everything you want to do under the sun requires a lot of money, a lot of, financial assets. So that is one challenge. We have to seek sponsors for the events that we do. And again, the community has been quite generous. Some of the sponsors that have been supporting us even for the past 7 years are with us today. And along the way, we also acquired or also collaborated with, established good association with a lot of new sponsors as well. So they see value in us and we see value in them. We are totally unable to do anything that we do without their help. But then we also try to provide them a value, a community face. So when we started calling out for sponsors back in the day in 2019, when we did our very first Diwali event, it was like, for example, our goal was, what the message that we were trying to send across was like, this is your opportunity to give back to the community that you do business with. You've been doing business, you've been, making money, and, rightly so, with your hard work. And so it's time to give back. We need your help. We need your support to do an event. My first motivation to do a Diwali event here, when I came here, it might be digressing a little from your question, but it might be a insightful
For sure.
comment. When I first came to Calgary, as I said, like, a lot of Diwali events were happening, but they were quite expensive. Like, they were costing about $70, $80, $90 per person, a good event. And rightly so, because things are expensive. Organizers don't make a lot of money from these events, or sometimes people like us don't make any money from these events. But that's how expensive things are. But it just occurred to me, like, how would a family of 3 or 4 spend $300 or $400 a night to go to an event just for an evening, just because they're feeling homesick, like everyone else back home is celebrating Diwali and we are not. So in 2019, we decided we'll do a very budget Diwali for everyone, so that nobody has to sit home on the Diwali night or prior to the Diwali night. Everyone has a right to celebrate. So we said, okay, we decided okay, let's do Diwali that would not cost more than $35 for anyone. And we somehow did it through the help of sponsors, through the help of we had some of the performance groups like Madhavan Performing Arts. They did entire entertainment thing for us for free.
Yeah.
And through such collaborations, through such meaningful associations, and we got food on discount as well. So we were able to pull it off and provide a Diwali celebration for everyone under $35 per person rather than $80 or $90. But then from that point on, we still wanted to maintain that vision that we would provide budget events as a non-profit. Our goal is not to make profits, but to provide value and this opportunity for everyone to celebrate. But we also wanted our events to evolve into world-class events. And God has been kind, as I mentioned in the beginning. I am a special child of God, and I've been bestowed with all the blessings that one could ask for. And so I've been blessed with a great team that works day and night to pull off these events. And we've been blessed with some good sponsors as well. So we've had to work hard for funding, but it's not that we never got it. We got it as well. So everything has come together, fallen in place for us to be able to, create these events, create these moments and memories for everyone, create world-class events at a nominal fee for everyone.
Yeah, which is amazing. And also some of the other programs or initiatives that you come up with.
Absolutely.
Let's say people with kids who are starting school. You had all the members speak about different schools.
Yes.
And that was very helpful.
It was helpful. Back in the day, we did that, I think, in 2020 or something.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
In the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
There were a lot of questions on the Facebook group about from newcomers and oldcomers alike, this is time for our kids to join school now, and we don't know what school to send to. This just so many options. There's this CBE, there's this TLC, there's this charter schools, then there's private schools. How to navigate all through this information, and if someone can guide us. So we just reached out into the community and got some parents to be a part of the panel whose kids were already going to different kinds of schools, and that was the webinar we did. And it ended up being quite helpful for everyone, and I think it's still somewhere on the internet and people still do access it and use it. But yeah, so right now we also have a lot of other programs. We have a program for newcomers, which is primarily served through this Facebook group, as well as through a lot of different programs. We have a program for seniors where we do at least one social event for seniors every year. And these seniors are basically the parents of immigrants or seniors who are living by themselves. And it's always open and always free for these seniors to come and socialize, exchange their phone numbers and meet with the fellow seniors and, create a group. So that has been an effort going on for the past 4 years. Then we have a youth program where so far since for the past, in the last 3 or 4 years, we've had over 25 youth for summer internships. Those are paid internships that we offer every summer for 8 weeks in different areas. Students gain, and these are mostly youth, either out of high school or in the early years of university. They gain practical, real-world experience with us on different programs. And apart from that, we have this mentorship program, which is called Impact. So that is a program where we help people, newcomers especially, in advancing their careers or switching their careers or getting a foot in the door, basically. So, our overall mission and vision is basically social, cultural, and economic integration of newcomers and immigrants in Alberta. So all these programs together play a very critical role in achieving those milestones.
Definitely. But from all the programs that you have mentioned, which one is your favorite, or which one do you think is more meaningful or has more value?
I think that is a kind of question you're asking a parent to choose between the kids, the favorite child.
Yeah,
I don't think any parent can ever do that,
that's true.
because every kid is equally favorite and equally precious to them. So are these programs for us, for the Indian Society of Calgary. Because each program has its own value. It serves a different audience. There's a program for women. There's a program for seniors. There's a program for youth. There's a program for every newcomer. There's a program for people looking for jobs or career advancement. So, that is to say, like, each of these areas of needs are so critical. Women need a support group as well. Seniors need a companionship. Youth need an experience, a real world experience, and mentorship is definitely needed for people to get their foot in the door or, make an advancement in their careers. So for me, all of them are favorite and equally important.
Okay.
But what I would like to lead is mostly the Impact Mentorship Program.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a big team, and every program is run by a team with a team director and, subordinates and support groups. So we have teams that run these programs. I primarily oversee all of these programs, but my favorite would be Impact, where I can connect with people my age and
Right.
have that kind of connection and dialogue.
Definitely. But coming back to the Facebook group,
Yep.
like I actively am like part of that group.
Yeah.
I see a lot of times, people are always complaining about the like what is it called? Author?
Sorry.
Like when you moderators.
Yeah.
So people are always complaining, why are moderators allowing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why are moderators not looking? Why did my post not get uploaded?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure you're doing this as a volunteer
Absolutely.
job. You always being a parent, even if we are not doing, just having a full-time job and being a parent is your plate is full.
Absolutely.
But you do so many other volunteering initiatives as well. You're part of it. How would you want to address all those concerns? Or
I think anyone that is in public space has to face criticism. If you're doing something that no one else is, or only a few people are doing, you will face criticism regardless of in your head you're doing something good. Because everyone is watching you in silo. When they're looking at the Facebook group, they are not cognizant of the other 6 programs that we are running simultaneously to serve different age groups and different communities. They are only focused on the issue that they're facing on Facebook. If somebody is a part of a program, they are looking at that individual program, discounting and disregarding the other 5 programs and tens of events that we are doing throughout the year. So I don't think they see everything as holistically as we do. So their issue is only the issue that they are facing or encountering with the event or the program or the Facebook group that they're involved in. Sometimes it is okay because we are also, at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and to err is human, to forgive is divine. So we always seek forgiveness for something that we are not able to do, but we just request our members, our community members, to just be little mindful of the other things that we are involved in. So we may not be able to address their concerns right away, but eventually it will be addressed. And also, there are situations where for me something is right, but for you it's not. So sometimes it's challenging to find a middle ground. Sometimes it's challenging to find something that is equally good or equally bad for everyone, because everyone has a different perspective and they see things from their perspective. And it is fine. Along all these years, we've come to understand and realize and come to terms with the fact that let's keep providing a service to the community. We are not affected by the good words that we receive, the praises that we receive, or the criticism that we receive. We know what we're doing is right. And as long as we are doing our job, we are serving the community with integrity and with the underlying philosophy of service to the community, I think it's all good. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and we respect that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Would you also say that being part of this group, people should use their own judgment and their own brains on what looks like scammy and what you have to be aware of?
100%. I mean, everyone is educated, everyone is mature, and everyone has seen life. So they know what's good, what's bad. So I would definitely urge members to use their own judgment on certain things that might be dubious or that might be ambiguous, where, it's not established what is right and what is wrong. So do use your own judgment. And we have our rules written on the group as well, that please allow a certain number of hours, 4 to 6 hours, for a post to be approved or a post to be moderated, and so yeah, it is, I think, see, we are not doing things for people. We are doing things with people. And they have an equal stake in whatever we achieve as a community. So I would urge everyone to be a part of it.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, as a moderator. So recently, and on a particular post. So recently, maybe a while back, I was seeing a lot of posts where individual would post I have a car detailing business and we are suffering and we would appreciate your help.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when I saw that post once, you would want to help that individual. And I would do my due diligence first. But I started seeing those posts from different individuals and the pages.
Same kind of post.
Same post.
A lot of times they can be scams as well.
Definitely. So then I'm very diligent. So I know this is a scam. How 100%. Can so many individuals be suffering and writing the same post, copy paste?
Absolutely.
And if you go on their page, doesn't even look legit.
Yeah.
So how, as a moderator, do you
We do a lot of extensive screening, first of all, at our level.
Okay.
We make sure, any post that smells of any sort of scam or, legitimate should not be approved. But there are times and there are things when things fall through the cracks. So at that time, we urge people to use their own due diligence.
Yeah, so people should be aware. Absolutely. And use your own.
Not everything can be spoon-fed.
Definitely. But I've recently seen, was this your first year being part of the Calgary parade?
Prelude, yes.
Yes. So it is amazing to see you joining hands with other similar organizations, like you were part with the Calgary Marathi Association, and to represent India on a bigger scale rather than having regional groups separated out. You joined hands and you all came together to represent India as a whole. So even that was amazing for us to see.
There's a little bit of clarification that I would like to provide here. So last year, we were part of that big parade that was led by the Calgary Marathi Association and joined by several other regional groups, us included. And it was branded as Incredible India, but credit to Calgary Marathi Association that initiated this whole thing in the previous years. And last year, they pulled in all the organizations to come together as one Incredible India group. So hats off to them, kudos to them for launching this grand initiative. So we were a part of that parade last year. This year, we were not. We were limited with our resources. Although as much as we wanted it to be, but there were 4 different organizations that did that. We were not a part of that parade. We were a part of Prelude. So the Stampede Parade can be classified into two segments. One that begins before the parade, and then the rest of the stampede event. So 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. before the parade actually begins, they call it a prelude, thing that happens before the parade.
Okay.
That's when people start start sitting on the benches or on the sides of the road. They'll start lining up to see the parade. So those 2 hours are not empty, are not hollow, because Calgary Stampede Committee has decided to fill that as well. So that is a segment they call prelude, and that is what we were a part of. That was what we participated in this year. So we had a team of about 16 dancers and about 15 team members who did that. So once that prelude part was over, then came the actual parade segment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is good to know. I wasn't aware of it either. But recently, again, from your LinkedIn, I also saw that you had a chance to meet the High Commissioner of India here in Calgary. How was that experience? We would want to know, like, what are the topics that you discussed?
Absolutely. So our association with the Consulate General of India in Vancouver and the High Commission goes back to 2021. So when we were introduced to them as one of the Indian heritage organization that was doing a lot of good work in Calgary for the Indian community in Calgary. So we had this meeting with CGI, the Consulate General of India in Vancouver, the entire team, and we introduced them to our work. And then since then, we've been in touch with each other. They've been here in Calgary on so many occasions, and we've helped them with so many events that they have done in Calgary and been a collaborator for them. And then, there was this time about 2 years ago where they also nominated us for an award from the Indian High Commission in Ottawa. So, then they flew all the way from Vancouver to give us that award. So that was the point where we got in touch with the Indian High Commission as well. And, they've also given us special messages on special occasions like Indian Independence Day for our Facebook page and stuff like that. So we've been working with them on different levels. This time, as you know, Prime Minister Modi arrived, came to Calgary this year as part of G7 summit. So there was a lot of things happening going behind the scenes, and, the acting High Commissioner, we don't have currently High Commissioner of India in Ottawa at the moment, but we do have acting High Commissioner. He visited as part of the G7 campaign. And after the stampede was over, there was this community dialogue. I was invited to that meeting by a friend of mine who works for Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute. So the acting High Commissioner wanted a meeting with some of the community members and understand. So this was a very, very informal conversation, dialogue about how the High Commission can support the Indian diaspora, what the Indian diaspora looks for from the High Commission. So how can we support each other? Very friendly meeting. And again, there were areas that they didn't know about where the community needs help and support. And there were things that we didn't know how and where the High Commission can help the Indian diaspora. So it was just a friendly conversation on that.
But it's good to know,
Absolutely.
Conversations are happening on such high level as well.
Absolutely.
People always complain about the BLS. And you recently organized a camp with the BLS and Consulate. So even that was amazing. How did that happen?
So, we had heaps of complaints against the BLS coming to our Facebook group and to our email. So a lot of people were struggling. These were the people who had to apply for different consular services, be it passport, be it OCI, or, power of attorney or anything. But they were just having a hard time getting appointments from BLS. And there were also challenges once they were in the BLS office. They were being, turned down for some error on applications. So there was a lot of grievance in the community. And so what we did was basically, we piled all those complaints together into a single file. And we forwarded it to the Consulate General of India in Vancouver. And I spoke to them as well and said, and mentioned to them, there are tons of complaints right now, and people are having a hard time availing these services. So what can we do about it? So they said, we can organize a camp if that helps. So then from there on, they took over and they facilitated everything. They said, okay, we'll come to Calgary to organize this camp. We'll send a team of consular officials. We'll also bring in BLS into this camp. So then the nature of the camp was like people could come for any consular service without an appointment. We created a registration form, and then we collaborated with different Indian heritage organizations in Calgary. And we said like everyone should have an opportunity to register to this for this camp. And it's not just for the Indian Society of Calgary. And we said like, we also asked for volunteers from different organizations. And we also floated this form in everyone. So everyone had the opportunity, whether or not you know about Indian Society of Calgary, you could just register it through your regional organization because, everyone had access to the form. So we had quite a few, close to 300 registrations. And then on the day of the camp, people just had to come and, we had a team of volunteers who would review their documents against the checklist and review their application, send it to the consular team. The consular team would sort of review it again. And if there was any issue, they would ask them to redo the applications. We had given access to, laptops and copying and printing services. So people had the opportunity to just redo their applications, even if they had to print anything on the spot, rather than going back home, which is the nature of this process, and coming back again. They could just do it and get a picture done from the nearby studio and then redo their applications and just submit it on the spot. So it was 1.5 days of effective, process of application submissions and stuff. And I think everyone was super happy, super delighted. We received lots of blessings. And one thing I would like to applaud was the volunteers who put in their time and efforts in facilitating this camp. And primarily it was the Indian Society of Calgary volunteers, but we also had volunteers from organizations like RANA, which is the Rajasthan Association, Calgary Telangana Association. I'm sorry if I'm missing out on any, but all credits to all of these organizations that floated this form in their respective communities and had people register on this form and also came out for volunteering.
Right.
UP Association as well. Yeah. Don't want to miss out on anyone. Yeah.
Do you think you were able to achieve what you were looking for? And what were people's feedback after the camp was done?
Feedback was fabulous. Feedback was amazing. Like, we created a feedback form as well, and precisely 100% of the guests have given us a 5-star rating, and where we asked for any sort of improvement. There was no ideas, suggestions for improvement. They said everything was so perfect that we could just dive in, come in, submit our application, just walk out. It has never happened. It has never been so easy, thus far. So that was amazing. The only disappointing thing was that some of the registered applications did not show up. And that is disappointing at our level, at the consular level as well, because when you plan such a big thing, which cannot be done every single day, and when you register for it, you should show up for it.
Right.
Don't take things for granted, because you might have taken somebody else's spot who may not have been able to register because it was all capped. But then if you register for such camps, please do show up.
Yeah, I think I've heard this complaint from many other people who try to provide services on such levels, and people just, want to save a seat
and then not show up.
And not show up. So we should avoid doing this.
100%. It is morally incorrect. It is ethically incorrect. And it doesn't define who we are. I know there could be challenges. Maybe there could be last minute challenges. You couldn't show up. That is fine. But it should not happen with a lot of people, because it takes a lot of work to organize these things. And so it is disappointing to see a no-show.
And it also reflects on the organization's reputation.
Absolutely. And we're not worried about the reputation at this point. It's just like, so people have been complaining. We're providing the solutions. So take those solutions.
Right.
Because if you don't take the solutions now, you have no right to complain in the future.
Totally. What is your long-term goal with Indian Society of Calgary? How do you plan to help so many more people in the coming future?
I think through the several programs that we've created. We have a program for women where women could connect and share their stories and struggles and challenges, and also help uplift each other. We have a program for seniors where seniors could connect with fellow seniors, socialize, and kill that boredom or silos that they live in. Then we have an impact mentorship program where we want to scale it up to a point where it can go pan-Canada, where any mentor or any mentee, anyone who needs help or anyone who's willing to help can connect online. We've built this own software in-house that is driven by AI, and the AI will help match the mentors and mentees based on their profiles and their needs. So we are removing the human element there as well. We will not be removing it 100%. We will still be doing events and programs and meetups where people could actually have a human connection, can connect with each other. But we are also facilitating a program through this software where anyone can receive any sort of mentorship remotely from the comfort of their homes.
You mentioned like you partnered with so many other organizations like Telangana, UP, and other. How do you build these strong partnerships with other organizations?
I think I wouldn't want to take undue credit for it because I'm not the one who has built all these partnerships. Yes, I'm a part of this partnership. So there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work in the community. There's a lot of community leaders. I don't like to call myself as a leader. This is a term that is widely used. I don't like to call anyone else a leader because that sort of assigns some sort of hierarchy or authority to this position, which we are not. We're just community members, trying to help the community. And we also help in the process. It's not that we're just giving, we don't receive anything. We do. It's a give and take process. So there's tons of good people in the community who are doing tons of good work. And some of these people happen to be the leaders of these regional organizations. Sometimes we reach out, sometimes they reach out, but it's all about collaboration. For example, you see the India Fest that happened last year and the Indian Independence Day celebration that has been happening since 2022. So that has been a joint venture of all the Indian heritage organizations based out of Calgary. And, every organization wants to be a part of it. Every organization wants to contribute through its resources, through its people, through funding, through bringing people to the event, through giving more helping hands on the deck. Everyone has done their part. So this joint celebration started in 2022, happened in 2023. In 2024, it evolved into India Fest, and which was kind of a larger than life event for Calgary, where say 8,000 to 9,000 people could gather just to celebrate India and the idea of India. That was amazing. This year, it is happening on a much bigger scale. We have more organizations as collaborators this year, over 20 organizations, and it's going to be amazing. So I think it's an honor and it's a privilege to be a part of this collaboration along with other Indian heritage organizations that are doing a lot of good work in the community, and they're working hard to uplift the community and to serve the community.
Definitely. But I'm just curious to know this year, because the Olympic Plaza is undergoing renovations, and that's where usually the Independence Day happens. What are we doing this year?
Actually, yes and no, because we did celebrate Indian Independence Day celebration in 2022 and 2023 in City Hall. But then as the event grew in scale exponentially, and we knew that the venue would not be able to accommodate 10,000 people. So last year, the event was moved to CPA Lot 6, which is a parking lot in downtown on 8th Avenue, I guess. So this year again, it's happening over there. So it has a huge capacity. We could easily fit in 10,000 plus people in that venue.
That's amazing. But last but not the least, you have been awarded with Queen Elizabeth and King Charles medals, which is such a huge honor. So first of all, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So walk us through the process. Like, how did that happen? And I feel so proud as a fellow Indian as well.
It just happened by chance. I mean, I've never worked for an award. I've never worked towards an award. And never done anything, in a hope to win an award for doing that. It just came along. I mean, when you're doing good work in the community, it does get. And this is a message to your viewers as well, to community at large. Like, if you're doing good work, rest assured, somebody is watching you. Somebody is observing the good work. And when the right time comes, they will nominate you for it. And without you asking for it. So don't look at these awards as a product of your service to the community or work for the community or whatever work you're doing. The results of the output of the work itself is a big reward. When you do all these programs, all these events, so many people show up, that's the biggest reward. You're doing it for them, and then they're showing up, they're showing their acknowledgement by coming to those events or taking or benefiting from those programs. That's a bigger reward than any other award, I would say, because that is actually helping community on the ground level. These awards are I would say decorations just a feather in the cap. They may come, they may not come, but yeah, it's an honor to receive these awards. Very honored and very privileged, feel very privileged to have received these awards. The first one, the Queen Elizabeth, I think was the nomination came from the Premier's office back then. From Honorable Jason Kenney was the Premier back then. So, and for this one, I was just nominated by a friend who received an email from the MP of our community, of our constituency, like, if they had anyone in mind who's doing good work and they should just nominate. So I was just nominated. But again, a huge honor, but and grateful for these awards. But as I said, they are a byproduct of what you do.
You're just being humble, but it's such an honor. Like, as I said, even as a fellow Indian, we feel so proud that one of our fellow Indians is being recognized.
Thank you so much.
But I have never been to these ceremonies. So can you also tell us how was it? Where did you had to go? How was the ceremony? What were your feelings when you were awarded?
The first ceremony was pretty fancy. So we had the Lieutenant Governor, Honorable Salma Lakhani, come over from Edmonton, and she was the one who awarded those medals, along with Honorable Mayor Jyoti Gondek. So, we had the Guard of Honor, we had people from military and, scouts. It was a pretty fancy ceremony. The second one was low-key. Okay. It was just awarded in the in MP Pat Kelly's office. But nonetheless, it doesn't, make it any less valuable.
Definitely. But more power to you. And I hope you keep doing such amazing work and in the society, as it really makes a huge difference, especially for people who take benefit, who involve themselves and, who become a part of the bigger group.
Thank you so much. And I would equally like to thank the community members who have always been supporting us in our missions. Like, we would be able to do and achieve nothing without their support. Their mere presence, makes these events, all these efforts worthwhile. So thank you for supporting us and keep supporting.
Definitely. Yeah. And what is your advice to someone who wants to start meaningful, or just in general from the life that you have lived so far, which is so amazing?
I would just say, don't do it because somebody else is doing it. Do it only if you want to do it. And you are driven by a passion and a dream to accomplish something, because otherwise it'll be you won't be able to run a marathon. You'll just get tired in a sprint format, and you lose interest. So do it only if it interests you, and if if that is the reason for waking up every day. Otherwise, there's no point. But if you, at the end of it, if you still want to do it, and if you are driven by passion, then start small. Start making the small connections, start with helping just one or two people, and scale it up.
I have been doing this podcast as well for a couple of months, and I just want to know if you resonate as well. Even if you're doing something meaningful for which you want to wake up every day, you would still have some low days. Absolutely. Where you feel so demotivated and
there are more low days than high days, I would say. High days are the outcomes of all the efforts that culminate into an event or a program, and you see the results of those programs or events. And if it's a hit, that's a high. But what goes into, creating those moments, creating those events or programs is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of burning midnight oil and, staying away from family, having little to no social life, having little to no friends network, just because you just want to do this. So it is dark. Yeah. So I would totally agree with you. It is not easy. But again, if you're doing it for the love of it, then, you have fun doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
It brings a lot of happiness to you.
One last question. People always complain that, we don't have enough time. It's so busy. Life is so busy. But when I see people like you who have very demanding full-time jobs, you have a child and you have a family, and you are doing so much volunteering job, and there is a lot that goes behind the scenes. Like people might just come to an event for 5 hours, but there's probably 5 months gone behind planning so many little aspects of it. How are you able to manage everything? Like, how do you keep the balance?
If you're driven by passion or you love doing something, you will eventually make time for it. But if somebody asks you to do something, if you're given a job to do something, if you consider it as a job, if you consider it as one more thing to do in your to-do list for the day, uh, then that could be challenging. But if it's coming from within you, if the fire is within you, that you have to do it, then you'll just make time for it. You'll, would I sleep less? I'm not a morning person, but I'm a late night person. So I don't sleep more than like 5 or 6 hours a night. And then, but then, yeah. So you just cut down on other things, a lot of other things like, shopping sprees and, socializing with friends and all of that. Because what has happened with me right now is a lot of people that I work with, they are my friends now. I don't have a lot of friends outside of what I do.
Right.
So we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of social gatherings with the people that we work with in the community. So yeah, everything rolled into just one. Yeah.
But compromise has to be made.
Absolutely.
Something has to be compromised.
I wouldn't call it a compromise. I have compromised on a lot of things that don't interest me to make time for something that I love doing.
But it's not an easy job, basically.
Well, nothing is easy. Yeah, nothing is easy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm thirsty right now. I don't have, the opportunity to grab a bottle of water. I have to make efforts for that. So yeah, nothing is easy. Nothing in nothing that is good comes easy. And if something is coming easy, it might not be good enough.
Right. It was so much like fun talking to you, and I got to know so much behind the scenes. And even our viewers who are, who want to know Devesh and what goes behind so much that he's doing, it would be a good podcast for them. I hope I was able to cover everything.
No, absolutely. I was a bit surprised when I received your email that you wanted to do this podcast, because I don't consider myself any different from anybody else, any ordinary person in the community. I'm just driven by my passion and the love for things that I do. And other people may have other passions. And so, yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. But I still don't know if I belong here.
You are amazing. And your journey and the medals and awards, maybe you don't get carried away with those.
Yeah.
You still stay on ground. But for us, it is like we have to give you the due credit that you deserve.
Thank you so much.
So it was amazing talking to you. Thank you again for coming.
Likewise, Neha.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as well. Put your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.